that Meghan won't be at Invictus 2027 because Harry sees that she's toxic.
Meghan Markle has been forced to leave the Invictus Games, axed by Prince Harry after another PR tension has been created by this bizarre PR display that we have seen over the past 4 days. But hilariously, Harry gave Meghan, his wife, quite a symbolic...
Blocked, ignored, and replaced. Meghan Markle's Invictus meltdown proves that no amount of cameras, Netflix deals, or tears can buy
TV at midnight, and they're trying to sell you a cozy pair of slippers and a robe. This was a woman that was a duchess. She got to mentor. She would walk into a school, and children would run and throw their arms around her. She was...
Montecito loves a bit of drama. But nothing, not even Meghan's usual PR chaos, prepared the neighborhood for the meltdown that hit the moment the Invictus news dropped. 1 second, Meghan was rehearsing her emotional comeback smile in the mirror. And the next, she was staring at a message that felt like a royal slap delivered by Wi-Fi. Meghan will not be participating in Invictus. No explanation.
Was Meghan Markle asked to leave the Invictus Games early? That is sort of the rumor that is swirling after Meghan.
She flew home via private jet, by the way, with many, many bags of luggage, which probably included all her many. If Meghan thought the royal family was too busy sipping tea and avoiding headlines to notice her Invictus Resurrection tour, she couldn't have been more wrong. While she was rehearsing her soft focus, compassionate Duchess face in Montecito, something very different was unfolding. Inside Buckingham Palace, something far quieter, far colder, and far more decisive.
By encouraging herself to throw her down a snow slope. Watch.
Handles there.
No.
Okay, let me know when we're clear on 4.
It began in a room rarely used unless the situation is delicate enough to require velvet curtains and guarded hallways. King Charles walked in first, looking tired in that royal way that suggests both heritage and headaches. William arrived second. Brisk, focused, already armed with documents and notes. The topic sat in the center of the table like a ticking bomb. Meghan's planned
her children, but of course this got all the rumor mill churning because Meghan Markle likes to make a spectacle of herself at the Invictus Games. Her and Harry's very much excessive PDF.
Charles skimmed through a report outlining her creative direction for the event, the photo angles, the rumored Netflix crew, the whispers of a new Duchess special. Every page made his expression harden. Invictus was meant to be Harry's safe space, a sanctuary for wounded warriors, not a backdrop for celebrity reinvention.
Yeah, body weight back, bum up, and go. 3, 2.
No, I really don't want to do it.
No, come on, you'll be absolutely fine.
Okay.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Go.
William didn't mince words. He rarely does, especially when it involves safeguarding the monarchy's reputation. He laid out the risks with surgical clarity. The inevitable media circus. Meghan's personal brand overshadowing the athletes. The possibility of the event turning into another Sussex spectacle. Even the aides exchanged glances. The kind that say, "We've seen this movie before," and the ending was a disaster.
Genuinely.
Catherine's name floated into the conversation without her physically being there. Her work with military families, her effortless dignity, the respect she commands without theatrics. She represented the version of Invictus the palace wanted to preserve. Meghan, by contrast, represented unpredictability wrapped in high-gloss PR.
Brows, they were obviously very, very clingy. Her especially, she looked needy, uncomfortable, sort of desperate for attention. So obviously people were wondering, was all this weird behavior on their part of the reason why the Invictus Games asked her?
Charles finally closed the folder with a decisive, almost final-sounding click. The air shifted. Everyone felt it. The conclusion wasn't shouted. It didn't need to be. Meghan would not return to Invictus, not this year. Not any.
That was odd. Harry was laughing demonically. It was like, get this woman down this sled and...
It was a firm, elegant royal shutdown, the kind only a centuries-old institution can deliver. Quiet, Immovable, devastating. By the time the meeting ended, the palace had reclaimed its authority, reaffirmed its loyalty to the veterans, and drawn a line thicker than the crown jewel's vault door. Invictus would be protected, and Meghan Markle would remain firmly, officially, on the outside.
Entire Invictus Games. So this is par for the course. This is not unusual. This is not a sign of, oh, they asked her to leave early. No, guys, this is just like standard operating procedure at this point.
Meghan didn't just prepare for Invictus. She planned for it the way a politician prepares for a comeback tour. For months, she walked around Montecito with the confidence of a woman certain that the world was waiting for her return. She treated Invictus like a personal stage revival, a reputation, reset button the moment she'd step back into public life with glowing headlines and carefully curated sincerity.
Stock internationally.
Absolutely. It really was one of those moments where you watch her going down the hill and you're like, yes, be gone with you. Go, go. And there was something gratifying about seeing that because a lot of people did not want her to be there. And to see that happen in a fun.
Her team reportedly had mood boards for every outfit, from earnest Duchess linen to soft power monochrome. She had notes on what kind of emotional beats to hit during speeches, a warm smile here, a hand to the chest there, maybe a tear if the lighting was right. Netflix had allegedly been briefed. Photographers were quietly alerted. PR drafts were written in 3 different tones, depending on how dramatic she wanted her comeback to feel.
To see her go down the hill and to kind of be in charge for a moment, because usually he's not the one in charge. He's always usually the one being, pushed.
But then came the moment she hadn't prepared for. The palace rejecting her entirely. Meghan had scripted her grand return down to the angle of her chin, but she had forgotten one detail. Invictus doesn't belong to her, and the message she received felt less like a rejection and more like a public unmasking. Her illusion cracked instantly.
At all. She's never stayed the entire time. The Hague, she stayed for the opening ceremony, wasn't there for the closing ceremony, was there for the closing ceremony of Dusseldorf, but not there for the opening. This time she was there for the opening, but not the closing, as far as we're aware. So this is definitely part of a...
Witnesses say Meghan's confidence evaporated so fast, the temperature in the room felt like it dropped. A full production, months in the making, collapsed with one decision made an ocean away. All those rehearsal speeches, all the spontaneous hugs she planned to give, all the clips she hoped would go viral, gone. The narrative she'd already mentally rehearsed, the redemption arc, the emotional blooming, the Hollywood meets humanitarian finale turned dust.
Lightheartedly say, okay, go. Like, it wasn't like he was caring and, oh, honey, it's going to be okay. Oh, like really comforting her. But it was like it was a joke.
And what stung her most was the realization that the palace didn't even bother to negotiate. There was no back and forth, no debate, no olive branch. Just a clean, brutal no, delivered with the quiet confidence of people who don't fear your PR machine.
And did something else, I think the closing or something to that effect. So she has never stayed for an entire Invictus Games. So this is par for the course. This is not unusual. This is not a sign of, oh, they asked her to leave early. No.
For the first time in years, Meghan didn't have a counter move. She couldn't spin it. She couldn't cry on camera about it. She couldn't turn it into content. Invictus had slammed the door with such force that even Montecito's PR teams couldn't pry it open. Everything she built around this moment was gone, and she was left holding the ruins of a narrative that no longer belonged to her.
P. Dina, can we just be honest about this, though? She has been axed. This was not the plan.
It wasn't a text. It wasn't an email. It was a full-blown hour-long conference call, the kind where every word carries weight and every pause is loaded with consequence. Palace insiders say the tension was palpable, so thick you could almost feel Meghan's Montecito mansion trembling with anxiety miles away. On the line, senior officials, strategists, and royal aides, voices tight, formal, but simmering. With frustration, the verdict wasn't just coming, it was a declaration.
All of the attention, but the problem is, no one wanted her there.
Yeah, no one wanted her there. Reports were coming out even before the game.
Every concern about Meghan's past theatrics was aired, dissected, and debated with surgical precision. The conversation reportedly volleyed between stern reminders and exasperated sighs. Meghan's Hollywood flair, once considered a charming novelty, had become a liability.
Why then do all these rumors seem to go about? Because she leaves and it's like, oh, this wasn't planned. This was new. As they don't generally tell us everything they're going to do in a week. Part of that is just for their own deluded security reasons. So
Invictus is a sacred space. We will not allow Markle theatrics to taint it again. No cushioning, no polite suggestion, no room for negotiation. The call ended with the verdict hammered in stone. Meghan was out. Her plans rehearsed to perfection. Her narrative, meticulously constructed, were irrelevant. The Crown was sending a message, not tomorrow, not later, not subtly.
Meghan is there to soak up the limelight. There was a lot of tension from what I heard behind the scenes that it would have been best had Harry just kept her at home. And, Meghan's going to do...
Sources say Meghan's phone buzzed the moment the call ended. One can imagine the flush, the disbelief, the frantic rethinking of every strategy she'd ever plotted. In Montecito, the silence must have been deafening, broken only by the sound of plans imploding in real time. A sledgehammer has nothing on the impact of being officially, unapologetically blocked, and Meghan, for the first time in years, had nowhere to turn, no spin to deploy, no cameras to soften the blow. The palace had drawn a line, and it was final.
Through that, of course, people are going to be cordial. They're going to be, very nice in front of her. But there is a lot behind the scenes that you don't see and hear about. And that...
Once the palace's verdict landed like a meteor, Meghan reportedly flipped the switch from poised duchess to desperate phone zombie. Sources claim she immediately launched into a frantic campaign of pleading and panic that insiders describe as equal parts heartbreaking and cringeworthy. Montecito, usually calm and polished, reportedly transformed into a theater of chaos, phones clattering, aides whispering in disbelief, and Meghan dialing anyone who might still owe her a scrap of royal favor.
There's a big conspiracy behind everything. And it just makes sense. I don't think she particularly enjoys the Invictus Games. I think she likes the attention for a period of time. And here's the truth, too. I think Invictus...
The call list was long, bizarre, and borderline absurd. Former courtiers, ex-staffers, distant relatives, friends of friends of friends, anyone with the tiniest conceivable link to the palace. It was relentless. An insider said, hours of crying, begging, demanding answers, and sometimes just yelling into the phone. She wanted to know why she was being punished, why her redemption arc was being sabotaged.
Heard about her being told to leave. There were issues with the sponsors and that they did not want her there. There was a big blow up around it. And eventually she just ended up leaving.
Every attempt, it seems, landed in the void. No one would intervene. No one dared get dragged into the Sussex hurricane. Meghan's entourage reportedly watched in stunned silence as their boss tried to negotiate with the monarchy itself.
Because if you look at the fact that she did give a speech prior to the games at the opening ceremony, it doesn't make...
But desperation has a way of revealing raw, unfiltered character. Meghan's usual polished optics, the serene smiles, the flawless speeches, the Instagram-perfect motherhood vanished. Instead, the world saw what insiders describe as a woman stripped of her craft, fumbling for control, and unable to manufacture a narrative powerful enough to bend the monarchy to her will.
To let people know. But she didn't. And it was just all of a sudden she's leaving, she's gone. And, the PR spin was that, this was always planned. I would beg to differ that it was not planned.
It wasn't just rejection, it was existential humiliation. For a woman who had made headlines by breaking protocol,